Samaritan, the brand new Amazon Prime Video original film that's releasing both in theaters and on Prime Video today, August 26th. The film stars Sylvester Stallone, Javon Wana Walton, Pelio Asrebeck, and Dasha Polanco, and tells a story about a young boy played by Walton learns that a superhero played by Stallone, who thought was to have gone missing after an epic battle 20 years prior, may in fact still be around. The film is an hour and 40 minutes and is PG-13. Welcome back to a brand new movie review here at Max Talks. We're talking about Samaritan on Prime Video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications when my videos drop. I do these types of movie reviews, TV show reviews, movie and monthly rankings, and a box office breakdown show every single Monday. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. Comment down below. First of all, have you even heard of this movie coming out? Are you going to check it out this weekend on Prime Video? And if you have seen it, tell me, were you disappointed? Were you surprised? What are your thoughts on Samaritan in a non-spoiler fashion in the comment section down below? I love that you guys have been chiming in a lot in the comment section as of late. Let's keep doing that. I love having those conversations with you guys in the comment section. And please like the video, guys, the thumbs up button. That's how you support this channel. So please like this video. So Samaritan is a movie that I've heard about for, I think, 2 or 3 years now. I think this was filming in 2019 or even before the pandemic in 2020. And a lot of people were like, ooh, Sylvester Stallone in kind of like an Unbreakable type film. Again, this is not a comic book movie. It's just an original take on the superhero genre, which I don't think we've seen really since Unbreakable did that, all the way back in the in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. And with Stallone being in it, he's also producing it. I think sadly the anger with him and the Rocky franchise has kind of clouded this movie. This movie went from a lot of people really into this movie, excited for it, and then with all the Rocky stuff coming out, this movie's kind of been pulled to the wayside promotionally. I even forgot until the other day that this movie was coming out on Friday. So super weird because I've heard about this movie for years now, and I completely forgot it was coming out this week. But let's get into it, my positives, my negatives, and my score. So let's go to my positives first. I do think that the movie, Sylvester Stallone, the first really best thing is that it is refreshing to see a non-comic, just a refreshing original superhero movie. Obviously, we haven't seen one really since like Hancock, which is kind of similar to Hancock, but completely different, honestly, than Hancock. But with this own mythology, with its own set of rules and heroes and villains, that it is kind of refreshing. If you're someone like me who's a mega Marvel DC fan, you do see, especially with Marvel, you see their content really every month, and you just feel like that's what superheroes are these days. So it's always nice that we still have people who want to make original movies not from comic books, but do tap into that superhero genre. And this movie's trying to be so different from Marvel in the way that this movie's trying to be a very grounded and serious movie. There really aren't any jokes really throughout the film, and it's taking itself very seriously, which I think some people who have been fatigued by the Marvel way of doing things might really like this film, because it's not trying to do forced humor to make it funny. It's trying to tell its own story, which I definitely respect, and the freshness of it was cool. And I think some of the mythology in here, so there's a lot of more intriguing things going on than there is executed in the film, but there's a lot of intriguing people, storylines, the world building. It's all actually kind of interesting if you kind of think about it for a second, especially this relationship between Samaritan and his twin brother, Nemesis, who fought 20 years ago. They're both believed to be dead, or at least one of them supposed to be missing and one of them supposed to be dead. And how all these people it's really split down the middle. A lot of people believe in Nemesis and a lot of people believe in Samaritan. And in this really poor rural part of, I think it's a made up city, but it's really poor, really just all over the place, gang wise as well. Again, there's some really nice world building as well. Also, I think the cast is excellent. Again, Stallone is by far and away the best part of this movie by a lot. Sadly, doesn't really get anything action to do until the last 30 minutes of the movie. But when he does get into the action scenes, it can be really fun. and Stallone can still be an action star. As we've seen, I know he struggled with the Rambo franchise as of late, but and he's obviously fading away from the Rocky franchise, but he's still a believable action person and always been phoning in some roles the last decade or two with direct to video movies. It's nice to see him. You can tell he really cares about this movie as a producer and out on screen as well. Javon Walton, who you might know as Ashtray in Euphoria, he's good in this movie. He's nowhere near as good as he is in Euphoria, and he sadly has like nothing to do in the third act after being he really is the main character for the first two acts of this movie. We're kind of following the movie through his eyes for the most part. Pilio Asherback, who I've not seen in much before, he was fine. He was fine. I'll get to his character in a bit, but I actually enjoyed his performance. And Dasha Polanco is also good as Sam's mom, who gets involved in this as well. So the cast for me was very good, and the actual freshness of an original superhero movie was good for me. But overall, guys, this is a pretty badly executed movie that is definitely maybe one of the most frustrating movies that I've seen all year long. There are bits and pieces of this movie that if they just get developed for 5 or 10 minutes more, could have been one of the biggest surprises of the entire year and really could have set up not just a franchise, but just a unique superhero film. But the film is just very surface level. It throws so many ideas at you and characters at you, and they're all just very surface level and vanilla. They don't really go as deep. And for me, that's trying to be very grounded. It because we're looking through the eyes of Walton's character Sam, we don't really get as much time with Stallone. And I think if the movie just focused on Stallone's character Joe and just do a grounded character study on this person, then lead to the third act action, I think the movie would have done a lot better. But we have a villain who's played by Pelio Asterback, who's Cyrus, who is just not an interesting villain. You don't really take him seriously that he's a threat to Stallone at all during the movie. And again, these all just Stallone's just hero. Walton's character is just a kid, and this villain's just a stereotypical villain. There's just nothing beyond what's on the page, which is hero, kid, villain, mom. Like there's just nothing deeper at all about this movie. And I think if it took its time, because the villain Cyrus gets a lot of screen time, but he's not really doing anything on a character level, exploring who he is, why he's a villain, how he recruits people, how he found all of these things. He's just kind of villain, and then he's doing bad things, and then he's doing bad things, and then he's saying bad stuff to a kid. And it's like, we get it. Is there anything else to this person's character? And it's kind of frustrating because they have interesting things here to explore, but the movie just doesn't want to do that. And because it really wants to hold off Stallone in action scenes until the last 30 minutes of the movie, the first hour is just way too boring. I was just sitting around like, this just feels like nothing's going on. We have, and I felt bad for Sam because he was like the main character for the first two acts. He just kind of becomes the stereotypical child MacGuffin to bring Stallone like out of retirement to fight someone. It just didn't feel, it just feels like they put a lot of over the top cliches. The CGI in the third act, they're fighting in this burning building. And you would think that people would have a hard time, first of all, breathing in this situation, but also just the CGI looks really bad. And it just does, it's not believable. So while this movie has a very interesting world building, Stallone's really good, and it's a fresh take on the superhero genre. It's just very surface level, vanilla, and sadly boring for the first hour of this movie. So overall, I'm going to give Samaritan a 2 out of 5 stars, a 38% for Samaritan. Not for me. Not for me. Was pretty actually disappointed with this movie because of how many good ideas was put into it, but nothing was explored deeper than what we already knew heading in. So just a disappointing film for Amazon Prime. Hopefully we can see Stallone do this genre still, but just they need a better script and just deeper dive into some of these characters. That's my thoughts on Samaritan. Please like the video, subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. What are your thoughts on Samaritan? Do you agree, disagree with me in the comment section down below? Like the video. More videos are coming out soon. Yesterday I did a review of episode 2 of She-Hulk in spoiler fashion. Also today we have my review of The Invitation, the new movie coming out this week. And then also Meat Time on Netflix. That review will be out this weekend. Box office breakdown show on Monday. and more reviews coming soon. I'll see you guys soon.